All right, what is going on, everyone? We are live. Welcome back to the Unconventional Mindset. My name's Odu, and what we do here is every Monday through Friday, we get together right here on YouTube and we live stream our process as we try to build ourselves a company which is going to generate us $1 million in revenue every single year. So let's just dive right into what we're going to be working on today, and that is we're going to write content. Maybe I should back up a second here. And so we run Pixel Media, which is our web design and development agency. And we are going to be pivoting that business. We're still probably going to keep that website live to see if we can get anybody strangling on that is just interested in getting a simple website. But we're going to be pivoting into focusing on building websites and applications, and as well providing creative services for people that are in the academic space. So thinking researchers, research groups, people that work at universities, or even people that have developed, based on their research, new technologies, new ways of doing things, and are kind of spinning off their own company or what have you with their IP that they generated while they were doing research, and they have a new product and they want to kind of get it out to the world, and they need websites and communications and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to be providing that services for those types of people. And what we need, of course, is a good website with good copy. And of course, if you know me, writing copy is probably not, it's just not my forte. It's not the thing that I'm really, that I don't think I'm very good at. But regardless, we still have to figure out how to do it. We still got to write our content. So we might as well take a look at the stuff that we've written a little bit before. And I think we should just kind of try to streamline this as much as we can in order to get our content ready to go. So we still are scheduling a meeting. So I sent out an email yesterday to a friend to see if we can get together and have a discussion about, what their thoughts are on this creative agency and how we can kind of position ourselves in the market. And we're still waiting. So he got back to me and says, yes, he'd love to chat. So we're still waiting to figure out the best time to actually have that conversation. And hopefully it's going to be the next couple of days, because I do actually need to go to the university on Thursday, I think, anyways. So it'd be good to have that conversation somewhat sooner rather than later. And then from there, I want to schedule a couple other interviews as well to talk to people. But in the meantime, we still need to kind of keep moving forward. So, Rolando, how's it going? Welcome. Who is Kevin? Did I put that in the title? Hang on. What did I say here? No, I wrote Kelvin. Did I say Kevin? Or have I been saying Kevin this whole time? I'm sorry. Maybe I just think of Kevin, but I meant Kelvin. If I've been saying Kevin, sorry. I'm totally out of it if I've been saying that. So, my bad. Kelvin Studios. We're writing stuff for Kelvin. And of course, we chose Kelvin because Kelvin is the temperature scale of where 0 is absolute 0, and then going all the way to I guess unlimited. I don't think there's a high limit on how much heat an object can be, like how high the temperature can go. I'm sorry you read that wrong. Okay, I could very well be that me. I misspoke to you, but anyways. That being said, Kelvin Studios. So if you're a scientist, you're going to understand what Kelvin is. I guess maybe the types of sciences I'm working for is mostly the natural sciences. So what is Kelvin Studio? So Kelvin Studio is going to be we're going to just have a new website. It's just going to be transitioning into the market of doing work for academics and academic institutions, as well as science-based technology companies. So that's the new agency. I'll call it new, but it's still the same kind of thing. It's still me and whatever, right? But that's the target market we're going to be focusing on. So I do think Pixel is still going to be onto the side, because I'm really hoping for once all that content that I'm going to have, that educational content is going to be out there, that people are going to look at Pixel and be like, oh yeah, $3,000, I want a website. And then we can easily just make that website very, very easily, using Pixel pieces or whatever. So hopefully that'd be nice to get a couple people a month trickling in on that stream of income. as well. So yeah. So, and yeah, this is one where I'm going to have some chats and conversations with people that are in the industry to see what their thoughts are in terms of what they're noticing in academia that people are having trouble with, and finding trouble finding people to do specific types of creative work for them, and seeing where we can kind of maybe fit ourselves into the market. So, I mean, that being said, again, we've been doing for the past 2 years. We've been doing, most of our work has been in the academic space. So obviously, I do know a little bit about kind of what it is that they're looking for and the services that they're that people are looking for. But we want to really see if we can really make sure that we can solidify exactly what people are thinking about in the academic space now, because it's been a couple of years since I've been out of it. And see if we can tailor our content to speak specifically to those people. So anyways, all of that being said, hopefully I can have these discussions this week, and hopefully even on Thursday. And then we could really start to narrow down our content here and get creating on this new website. Okay, so what I started here, let me zoom in a little bit here. Okay, so I put this little sitemap here. I just put it on this document here because this document here is going to be, we're going to write out all the content that's going to be on the website. So again, like I said before, I want to make sure that we do this one the right way, and writing in all the content first, I think is, well, I definitely want to have all that content written first, so I know exactly how I'm going to be designing the website and what kind of section and all that kind of stuff is going to need to be there. Can I suggest some changes to the architecture? Add a CPT for services areas, legacy, and link tree. Okay, so just a couple questions I have with that. So a CPT, is that, what does that stand for? So I don't know what that means. But service areas, legacy, and link tree. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like service areas, you mean like where do I service and who do I service? So, and I think what that would be beneficial for would be to have something where I put in, where that's like Halifax Design or whatever to put in, or Canada Design Agency. So that might be where that kind of content would sit, if that's what you're kind of thinking. And legacy and link tree. Yeah, those, I don't know. I'm not sure what you mean by those. So if you could maybe give me a little bit more details. Happy to go through it and to kind of think about it. If we go over to, so we did this in Figma we went over this, I think last week, but here's kind of all the information that we proposed is going to be in each of the pages that we have here. There's a lot more information on the home pages and on the service pages, all that kind of stuff. And then the resources as well. It's like, I'm not sure what we should have the resources. And I don't know, again, like service areas or legacy or what have you, if that's part of that, but just let me know. Because whatever content is going to be beneficial to have to help with SEO, I think that's going to be super important as well too. So I definitely don't want to miss that. So do let me know if I'm missing anything. Okay, so we're going to go with this homepage real quick. So here, this page here on the left, my left, I think it's your left as well too. So we wrote this a while ago, but let's have a quick look here. Yeah, we're talking for figuring out the why of why we're doing what we're doing. We help researchers communicate the value of their work. The value of their work to the world, so that together we can create new technology and policies that make the world a better place. Yeah, I like that. I don't know what the equivalent is in WEBFLOW. I imagine that you collect, and it was legal, non-legacy. Linktree is a page where you can put all the contact links in the form of a button. So when you share the link on social networks, people choose exactly where to go and loads very quickly on cell phones. Oh, so Linktree, that's an actual application then, right? Where you have all your, yeah, like here's my thing to YouTube and Twitter or Instagram or what have you, and then your websites. Put the contact links in the form of a button. Right, yeah, okay. Collect equals collections. WEBFLOW, imagine that you collections and it was legal non-legacy. Yeah, so anyways, I totally get what you're saying in terms of having where you can put all the contact links. So we'll definitely have that. I guess that's going to be on the contact page in terms of all the different avenues that they can get to us. But I know, but you're talking on social networks, so something you could share on social networks. Yeah, so I don't know if those are two different things. Like on social networks, you can share your link tree versus sharing a page on our website that then gets people to other places. Because I know my thoughts on this, and I could be wrong on this, is that once someone is on your website, you don't really want to get them away from your website, right? Like, because that's kind of where the information is, and that's where you can get the real good value, right? Where they subscribe to your newsletter or they contact you, all that kind of stuff, right? So does it make sense for us to bring people to our website only to kick them out and provide links to external places? I mean, obviously you're still going to have your links to the social networks, but yeah, I'm just not sure exactly where you're suggesting that should stay on the website and exactly how that works. Maybe if you can show me like an example on a website that has this, then I could maybe understand it a little bit better in terms of what you're asking here for. And then the legal and non-legacy. I'm still not sure what that means, to be honest. Sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what that could pertain to, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. Sorry, maybe you can help me out a little bit more on that one. Right. Okay. So let's just keep going, and then maybe something will come up, and we can get to that together. Okay. So yeah, we're talking about the potential target audience, problems we are solving. So yeah, we don't want to go over that today. We just want to go over. So this, yeah, I did a little bit more of a sitemap. We just want to go over the content that we initially wrote. Home, showcase, testimonials, highlights, call to action, services. Okay, homepage. All right. Oh, we did do, if we go back here to Figma, actually. So we had something like this. Yeah, and I like kind of thinking along this lines. Okay, so we're going to have here a hero section, right? Then we'll have science meets story. I don't know how to explain yourself. Yeah, I think I gotta move faster in terms of me learning my Spanish, so then we could have maybe some more easier communications. But yeah, sorry, I'm just not quite sure what you're saying there. But so if anything comes up, just let me know. And we'll plug it in there, because I know you always have some really good insights, so I'd hate to miss out on that. So, okay, right. So yeah, we work with researchers to create impactful narratives that help them gain a competitive advantage in a highly dynamic and in highly dynamic and evolving landscapes. Might be a little bit verbose here, but scientists do love they do love their language. Did I get that right? Copy and paste that in here. All right, so that would be the hero section. And then you might have, from there, you'd have, could be learn more. And then it could also be like start a project. Okay. And then we have Mm-hmm. A first section. I don't even know what we should call them and how we should label them, but ignore that. Let's see. How can let's put this over a little bit here. That's not the right one. Yeah, I like this. So this section 1 here is basically going to be our like case studies, I do believe. So stand out from the crowded academic space. Copy. Right. Stand up from the crowded academic space. We work with researchers to create impactful narratives that help them gain a competitive advantage in highly dynamic and evolving landscapes. That's wrong. Did I not copy that properly? Because that's the same thing as this one. And let's paste. Yeah, there we go. We are a team of storytellers. We turn complex science into clear and easy to understand. I like this, just not that we don't need brackets. We turn complex science into clear and easy to understand narratives through innovative digital storytelling, amplifying research impact and visibility. Yeah, that's a word salad, but I like it. I like that. So I'm just telling you, add legal collection. So you can add posts with policies, service areas, so you can work better on local SEO, and a collection of links so you can add the query on a page. Okay. This way you can better manage the content and work better on SEO in addition to optimizing the loading speed. Right. Okay. So I'm just trying to think of the benefit of adding it in a collection versus putting it in the page static. So legal collection. So you can add posts with policies, service areas. Right. Also, okay. I think I'm hearing what you're saying. So yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to work this out. I hear where you're going with this, and I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm just trying to put it straight in my mind here. So this is basically like when I'm creating a blog post, that depending on the blog post, that I can pull in different things that make sense that are relative to that blog post, right? Whether it's talking about, as an example, talking about maybe legal, scientific research, I don't know, like policies, or maybe there's certain policies in place in order to get an IP from your research in, Latin America versus Canada versus United States, right? So you're saying you have different collections which identify those policies in those different local jurisdictions. And depending on the post, I could just bring those ones in. So I don't have to worry about rewriting them on every single page, because whenever I update it in the one place in the collection or in the database, I could just serve that up on that specific page. So things like that, is that kind of, am I hitting the right area of what you're thinking about? And as well too, if there's some kind of thing where I want to specifically talk about something that happened in Halifax or Nova Scotia, say maybe saying in the province might be a little bit more significant, where there's a new research funding that the province had. There's $100 million to develop new ocean. There's lots of ocean stuff that's going on here. So there's ocean money to be able to develop new technologies to stop erosion. And then therefore I can make a blog post or whatever talking about it, and then add in that collection of, hey, this is actually relevant to like Nova Scotia SEO, to add those kinds of things in there. I think better way to manage the content and work better on SEO. I think that's what you're kind of leaning me towards, which I think makes a lot of sense. So let me know if I'm kind of hitting on the right spot here. I don't know where to put this. So I'm just going to put this here as like a development thing. Development note. Create collections for okay, no, so I'm not on the right track here. No, I was talking about the architecture of the site. And when I said policies, I meant policies such as cookies, personal. Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So those are just like, create like legal pages then. I don't know if it necessarily means that it should go in like a database, but unless those are going to be on different pages. Do websites have their legal policies, things like cookies and all that kind of stuff? Do they have that on multiple pages, or is it just kind of on one page? Sorry, I'm just reading this here. Yeah, okay. So I think we need, so I'm going to throw this in here because this is, we're going to need a legal page. And that's going to be things like policies, personal information. And it's also legal in terms of like how we work with our clients as well too. So things about content ownership, depending on if we're doing videos and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we're definitely going to need all that. So that's really good. Definitely need to have that. Oops, where's my, okay, this thing's keep turning on. Move that out of the way. So there's legal, but there's also, do we need, well, I think could that all be on one page? And privacy. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely going to be important. We're going to have to lawyer up for this one for sure to write all that stuff in. So, Rolando, question for you about lawyers. And for me, I hate really long, like legal documents that are like impossible to read, right? I get the reason why they're there, but I still don't like them. So if I go to a website, I look at their lawyer stuff, and it's like you look at Adobe, right? When you click sign, it's like these crazy EULAs that are like, dozens and dozens of pages of just a bunch of legal stuff. But is there a way to talk to lawyers and say, hey, listen, I want the legal section to be understandable in plain English for just people that are just not lawyers. Like is something like that possible? And I'm trying to think of my time at Shopify. Let me have a look. I just want to see if there's anything in like Shopify's legal stuff, which had some like lawyer translation stuff. Okay, hang on. I got another comment here. I just want to see what happened here. So, right. So they got illegal stuff here. Okay, they got a whole bunch of stuff. View merchant terms. Right. Okay. So I really like this. So like, here's the terms. It's like all this mumbo jumbo garbage, right? Like nobody reads all this stuff. Well, I mean, some people do, I'm sure. But I love how it has this, like this is what this means in like English. So I love this. So are they okay writing this kind of stuff for you? And like all this other stuff. Yeah. Activation, blah, blah, blah. It's like, what does this mean in plain English? And there's this here. So yeah. No, like I know that. Yeah, I know they're in English. I get it. Depends on the context and which. Yeah, for sure. The context varies depending on the situation and the subjects. No, for sure. That makes a whole lot of sense. And I think that's going to be something that we're going to be learning as we go along here, in terms of how we're going to define our own like legal stuff. Because right now, the way things work, to be honest, because my contracts are generally pretty small. The largest contract that I have is ongoing is 30,000 K, and that we do have a legal contract. But that was drawn up by lawyers at the university, not by my lawyers, because I don't have a lawyer right now. Maybe I should have one. But for the most of my work that is just, that's under like 20K, we just kind of shake hands and be like, okay, here's the thing. And I send them the invoices and then they pay. Is that the best way of doing it? Probably not. I probably should have a lawyer or whatever. But I remember one of my other companies that I started before, we went heavy into the lawyer fees and we paid like $7,000 or $8,000 in legal fees, and it was all a complete waste of money because we brought in $0 and we just paid all this money to lawyers. It's like, get money rolling in and then try to worry about all the lawyer and legal stuff. But yeah, it definitely depends on the context. So yeah, once we start doing this work for academics, we're for sure going to need to get some good legal advice and to start writing some stuff. Actually, I do have a friend that's a lawyer, so maybe they can help with that. That would be kind of really, really cool. I'll ask you, Rolando, too, but you don't think you want to practice anymore, which is totally fair enough. So this is how you manage them. You create a collection of company data called options page in WordPress. And I create the policy post and extract the company data dynamically, which saves me errors and speeds up my workflow a lot. So I create a collection of company data, the options. Oh, and you just extract the company data dynamically. Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay. I think what we'll do, we'll definitely circle back to how all this stuff could work once we actually start building stuff. Because I think right now I just want to focus on thinking about the content and what content we need, and then we'll figure out exactly how we're going to actually develop things, which will make because we're just writing content right now, but that's super, super important. And I hear you. And like I said too, initially with this whole project, which is going to take 6 to 8 weeks to get this thing from like right now to launched, is we really want to make sure we're going to do everything right so that we we start off on a really, really good solid framework and a good solid foundation for both our company and the website itself. So we're definitely, once we're in the development phase, let's see what we can do to make sure that things that need to be in the database are in the database so that we can really work efficiently. And like you said, be able to call upon the information when we need it. So like the company information, that's in the database. Company policies or this or whatever, that's in the database. If we need to pull it up on specific pages, it's right there. Like you said, makes the work a whole lot easier. If you have to edit it in across the whole website, you just do it in one spot. And it edits and updates across the whole website. So totally makes a whole lot of sense. So these guys have legal and a lot of legal stuff. But I'm just curious. They got legal, and do they also have privacy? They do terms of service and a privacy. So what's the difference? So there's legal, terms of service. This is legal and terms. This is just legal. Interesting. I'm just curious what the difference is here. So this is legal, and then there's terms, which is legal/terms. Is that merchant terms? Oh, okay, that's the same thing. So this is the main one, which is just here, terms of service. Okay. And this legal is just like everything. I mean, we're not an e-commerce platform. So yeah. Okay. And then privacy goes to legal and then privacy. So we click on that one. And where's the privacy? I guess it's just right here. View privacy policy and cookie policy. Okay, so we'll keep it all in one for now because obviously we're not Shopify. We don't have $1 billion running through our platform like every day. So we don't need anything crazy like this. But having this in place is going to be really, really important. Sorry, no need to apologize at all. We have different processes for creating web pages. I always start with the architecture, continue with the schemas, and then with the content. The last thing for me is always the design. Oh, that's interesting. So our process is almost the reverse, I would say, because the way it is for me and the way that I work, and this is, I guess maybe it's because I'm first and foremost, I'm a designer, but the way my process is at least if I'm doing it all by myself, it might vary depending on if there's other people that you're working with. So that's another thing to consider as well too. But for me, working on my own, it's develop the content, because at the end of the day, the content is what's going to dictate what the structure is going to be. Because if the content says you need like 1,000 pages versus the content is like 1 page, you don't necessarily want to build the same architecture for something that's 1 page versus 1,000 pages, right? So the content kind of dictates that. So you come up with the content, and then when you come up with the content, then I think you can also do this kind of simultaneously, where you can look at the information architecture with how you're going to lay it out on a page. And then you could start thinking about how that's going to work on the back end as well, definitely. Because once the content is done, you can work on the design and also the back end kind of at the same time. I think I'd like to have the content nailed down before we get into the nitty gritty of how we're actually going to, technology wise, display that content to the people, right? So content, information architecture, and / wireframing. Then you get to the design, but then simultaneously you can also do the architecture of the technology, like the database structure and all that kind of stuff. Then you can work on that. And then the last step, of course, is just developing everything. So, but yeah, that's just, different processes. And the thing is for me anyways, no process is right or wrong. It's like whatever works for you and whatever gets the job done, right? So, so many people have different processes that I've seen throughout, I guess, my career, working with so many different people that have different ways of doing things. And if something works for you, then it works for you. And then that's fantastic. That's fantastic. But yeah, we'll definitely be getting into all of the structure of the database and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be fun. I'll definitely let you know when that's gonna be happening. Privacy and personal information and just legal, right? Yeah. Maybe I guess you can even say terms. Yeah. Okay. Oh, by the way, I was waiting for your response to the forum. Oh, sorry, because I was waiting for to find out. I was waiting for something to find out from you about something before sending in the stuff for the forum. There was a question that I had, and maybe something got lost in the in our asynchronous communication. Hang on a second. Shoot. Oh, yeah, because I was asking if we should connect first. I thought I had a question. Hang on a second. I can't remember now. Yeah. Essential is the data schema into business URL address. Yeah. Okay. No, I'll get this in. Okay, so I'll fill this in today and I'll send it in. But I think what I was thinking was like, if we're gonna have a chat, then let's just have a chat, and I could even just fill it up online, like while we're just talking, just on screen, if we're having like a Zoom call or whatever, just to make sure that I'm giving you the right information so that I'm filling out the form correctly. But yeah, sorry about that. I will send that over. And I would love to touch base with you as well too. And I don't know how much stuff you'd want to do with SEO and what's your capacity like working with WEBFLOW. But one of my clients, I want to put forth an option for them for SEO, to provide that as a service. And because I'm not very familiar with that, I would be looking to outsource that kind of stuff. But I'd like to know if there's anything. Yeah, I don't know. I would just love to rack your brain in terms of what kind of services that you've had experience with in terms of providing for SEO, any kind of results that you can look towards, because it would be really fantastic to offer that to my clients, and then, basically just to outsource it, because I can't do that stuff and I'm not good at doing that stuff. So anyways, I'd love to have a chat with you about that, to see what's going on there. Yeah. So if you like, we can chat later, 5 p.m. in your area. So today is probably the worst day, because after 5 p.m., because today is Tuesday. Yeah, today's Tuesday, and Tuesdays is circus day. Circus, not with clowns, but with the trapeze and all that stuff. So that means I'm here with my son. And we're spending time together. And that starts at like 5:15ish or so, or something like that. So that wouldn't be a good time for me. But other than that, I'm usually pretty free. Obviously, I do this live stream every day, and then after that, I'm usually pretty free. So today would be the only day I wouldn't work. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. But we'll get together and we'll chat, and we'll see what time could work well for us to get together. All right. So, right, what should we do here? Let's kind of just bold these hero let's bold the different sections of the page here. Okay, science meets story. Well, yeah, I like that. And wonder what we can. I think we'll just say like button learn more, and then button start a project. Just ignore that, please. And then we can have images / design, like interactive case studies displayed. Something like that. So what that's going to look like, I have no idea, but we kind of had the idea here is these 4 squares, some way to really design-wise to make things look really, really good. So that's that. So you tell me the time, but I'll make lunch from 4 to 5. Yeah, okay. So I'll touch base with you. What I'll do is I'll let you know of a couple times that I'm free over the next couple days, and then we just pick a time, and then we'll just use Calendly or something, and you just book a time or something like that, and then we'll just kind of go from there. Yeah. We'll connect. Kevin, how's it going? Welcome. Are you back stateside yet, or are you still in Mexico? Oh, sorry, that's really loud and icy. That's what you guys say, right? In America, you're like, are you stateside? I don't know. I just hear that from movies. All right. Back in New Jersey, turned 40 today. Stateside works. Well, happy birthday. I don't have a birthday. I just have this. I need to get more sound effects. What else do I have? Oh yeah, there we go. Well, happy birthday. The big 40. 40. So that's I think Rolando and I think we're the same age. So what are we? 46? What am I? How old am I? No, I'm not that old. 44. Yeah, I'm 44. So you're 4 years 4 years I'm 4 years your senior. You're just a little guy. You're just young. You're practically just born. 40 years old. That's awesome. You got any plans today? Doing anything with the family? Yeah. Hopefully it's not just celebrating you and I here on the live stream. Gotta be something nice going on with the family. Maybe going down and have some pizza. Oh, down the local pizza shop. You guys probably have really great pizza shops over in New Jersey, I would imagine. Ran 4 miles this AM. Nice. So that's like in human terms, that's like 1.6. So that's like 6 kilometers, 6.4, something like that, which is cool. Awesome. I always like to start my year that way. Yeah, it's awesome. Work, then dinner with the family. Awesome. That's great. That's great. Rolando's saying congratulations. Yeah, pizza actually. Nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. So how's the weight loss going as well too? So hopefully that's going well. So I haven't been, I'm still not sure if I should film all my weight loss stuff again this time. Because I did it, I've done it. If you go look on my channel, there's so much stuff that I've done. And that's where you see my whole yo-yoing up and down constantly. But yeah, hopefully it's going well with you. I know I'm down myself about 5 pounds, but Mexico hurt the scale a little bit. I was in Cancun. Rolando, is that true? Is that Mexico? They're known for up the scale of everyone that visits. Maybe that's just if you're on like a vacation or even work vacation where it's just, we're fun. We're having fun. We're having a good time, drinking a few extra tequilas than normally we would, and having a little extra tacos or what have you. Now I'm getting hungry. Okay. If you're having pizza today, jeez, I need to have pizza today. This can't stand. I can't have other people having pizza and I'm not having pizza. This is unfair. This is unjust. Okay. All right. Let's get going here. Let's keep going. So, okay. Spacebar, right. What was my page again? I think, is it this one? No. Oh my goodness. Content, this page. Okay. So what kind of content do I want? So if we go back here just for a second. Oh, so Rolando's asking, how did it go with the taxi drivers and their extra charges? Yeah, is it, what was it called? Just like the foreigner tax? Oh, that's brutal. Like, hopefully it wasn't that bad. Yes, it's one of the southernmost parts of Mexico, one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. At least it was before the sargassum crisis. I don't know what that is. Is that, I don't know if I should even look that up. But that doesn't sound good. Is that like an actual biological crisis or like a people crisis? Hotel shuttles took me back and forth from the airport, so no taxis. And I guess you didn't do any taxiing outside of the area that you were staying at from the hotel. Okay, so we have our intro statement with call to action, value proposition, case studies. Yeah, so this value proposition, that's, I think, what we're doing over here, where we're talking about this, where it's getting people to understand how we can help them, right? So you do the science, we do the communication to the world, right? I think that makes sense here. So we'll just do section 2, value proposition. Oop. Yeah, you've dedicated yourself to advancing the boundaries of knowledge within your field every single day. We believe your groundbreaking research deserves to be shared with the world. Our mission is to harness innovative communication techniques to ensure you and your work receives the recognition. yeah, they or you deserve. That you and your work receives the recognition it deserves? No. Yeah, there's something wrong with this sentence, the way that I'm saying it. But anyways, yeah, I kind of like that. Maybe there's other things that we need to do to strengthen that. This is where these conversations with my colleagues are going to really be helpful, I think, anyways. Yes, it's an ecological crisis. Oh no, that's bad. You were saved from that mafia. They are super abusive to foreigners. Is that in terms of people getting into taxis and then being, like literally just being bribed or being taken to places where they shouldn't be taken to? Yeah, that's not good. What if you're a foreigner, but yet you speak fluent Spanish or Spanish well enough? Is that enough to save you from any kind of, from people trying to take advantage of you? And I guess too, it depends on where you are. If you're in a safer neighborhood or safer area, safer town, safer part of town, as opposed to a place that is obviously, where there's more crime and whatever. I mean, that's anywhere you go in the world, right? There's going to be places. There's even places here in Halifax that's like, I don't go there. I just don't go there, regardless of whether I'm local or not. I'm totally curious now what this crisis thing was. Oh, seaweed. Refers to the widespread invasion of sargassum seaweed on Caribbean beaches, particularly in Mexico, the Dominican Republic, and other island nations. The crisis has been ongoing since 2011 with surges. Oh, right. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that is crazy. That is crazy. So it's just basically dead seaweed that just pulls up on shore. And is that just has to do probably where there's just too much nitrogen in the water? And then, of course, if you have all that seaweed and then it dies, and then you have all the everything's just decomposing or whatever, and then it just basically deoxygenates all the water, and then you get a whole bunch of fish kills as well too, I'd imagine, because of all the activity that's breaking down all the all the seaweed. So I can imagine that being a really big problem as well too. We're getting all kinds of crazy fish kills. So yeah, that's crazy. So if you are not from the city, they abuse you with the cost. If it's a 50 peso trip, they want to charge you $50, which is 20 times more expensive. That's 20 times. That's crazy abusive for sure. That's like me charging someone, like $1,000 for a website and then turning around and say, oh, you're from there? Well, now it's going to cost you $20,000. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. But I guess it's all relative to how much someone's making, though. And they intimidate you until they pay. I guess if you were like you were like a really big, intimidating person, that they wouldn't try to intimidate you because they just feel like they might just get into some kind of fight or physical altercation. Like, imagine if somebody like, not The Rock himself, because people would know who he is, but like a big guy like that will kind of go in and you can see this taxi driver trying to intimidate them into paying more money, and the guy's just like hulking over them. I don't know if they try that on anybody. But anyways, and again too, I can imagine if you speak fluid Spanish that, you could be like, what the hell are you doing? This is crazy. I'm not paying that. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I've never had to experience that. So I don't know. I'm just talking. Actually, I'm just hypothesizing, I guess. I don't know. But before I do travel to Mexico, Rolando, you're the first person I'm going to call to help make sure I don't get myself into too much trouble. Okay. So we got our value proposition here. And do we need anything else after our value proposition? What I would like to do, I think I like the value proposition, and then it goes into button our services. Oop. I don't know if this is the best spot to have this, but we'll just put it here for now and have this section 3 be testimonials. And I don't know. We got our hero statement. And this is the services, case studies, news, blog. Oh, I didn't write testimonials. Interesting. Okay. So we're going to have something. Well, testimonials is pretty straightforward. I guess we can say, yeah, I mean, this is, geez, like, here's what other people have to say. There's could be something a little bit better, more clever than that we can come up with. And I like to keep somewhat using terminology that scientists use, like peers and colleagues, right? So like, here's what your peers have to say. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, okay, well, other people with PhDs and whatever are saying this, right? So not just any kind of Joe Schmo. Here's what your peers are saying about us. Yeah, I don't know if that works. Yeah. I don't know if something like that specifically would work, but I'd love to take this to like an actual copywriter at some point. That's not the right spelling. Okay. Then we have services. So here, this is the initial kind of page we made to write content. And we have this services section here. Do we need to have that on the home page, or should we have that on the home page? Let's take a look at what we wrote down in our little sitemap here. Yeah, we do have a services overview. So I think it does make sense to talk a little bit about the things that we can do. So if that's the case, I don't know if this button should go to our services here, but yeah, maybe not. Maybe we just go section 3 here. Yeah, not our services, but just services. And then we could say something about, well, we're a team of storytellers. Okay, images. So maybe this is like what we do, and maybe now we need to say how we do it. So this is the how. Oh, right. This is that's what I wrote down here. Oh, right. I like this. Doesn't hurt, I don't think. to retell the stuff that you've already said before, especially when most people don't read every single word on a website. We turn complex scientific research into clear and easy to understand narratives that get results. We're a team of storytellers. So yeah, this is the exact same thing here. Stand out from the crowd. Yeah, maybe that doesn't really make sense here. Because you want to retell the same stuff, but maybe do it in a different way. What can we look? We're doing some brainstorming about the hero statement. Your science understood. Science made easy. Science meets story. Science for the people. That's interesting. We amplify research impact and enhance visibility through innovative digital storytelling. Well, that's kind of cool. Ooh, I like this. Transforming research into impactful narratives. That's good. So we transform research into what? Into impactful narratives. And we're going to think of this in relation to the services that we offer, right? And we broke our services down into 4 different sections. And I think digital, oh my goodness, I can't remember now. There's digital, data, communications, and what's the last one? I can't remember. Let's have a quick look to refresh our memory here. Services, yeah. Digital, oh yeah, content, right. I was totally off. Communications is content, okay. Digital, content, data management, and then event management. Yeah. Event management is an interesting thing. I need to find out more information on that because I know there's one colleague I have in academia. She's done so many different events. She's so good at it. And she always talks about how even now there's so many events. And I even heard somewhere in Britain, like even just talking about events themselves, like they spent like it's like billions of dollars a year are spent on events, and someone needs to manage them. And if we could tie in and weave in, because the thing is too is if you're having an event, it's like, okay, well, have you thought about photography? Have you thought about getting videos? Have you thought about making any kind of content which you can use to repurpose all that valuable information you got and distill it into these amazing communication chunks that you can use throughout the year or whatever until you run your next event or what have you? There's so much content that I find, especially in academics, at least maybe this is just what I know. There's so much content that can be made available that happens on the actual day or the week of an event, but so much of that information never really gets distilled and then disseminated to the people that even attended the event. It's like you go there, you go to the event, and then that's it. There's not even any follow-up of like, hey, what did you think of the event? What could we do better? What did you learn? What did you like about it? What should we do different next time? Here's amazing videos. Here's a recap of what happened. Here's some amazing posts that are highlighting it. There's so much stuff that doesn't get done during events. I mean, Kevin, you could probably speak to this because you were just at an event, right? So I don't know. Well, I don't know if it was like a conference or whatever, but if it was like a conference, do you feel like they took maybe if it's not in science, maybe it could be something totally different, but do you feel like they did a great job in terms of capturing things that were going on during that event that are going to be shared with you and shared with so many other people in the days and weeks and months ahead? I feel that it's quite lacking. Anyways, don't get into providing social media services. It won't make a living unless you outsource to a content manager. So I guess, yeah, the social media thing, I think the way that I have it written here is a very broad term, but I guess what I specifically mean of what I mean by that is we will go to your like event or go do interviews and understand your science and all that kind of stuff. And we will take that high production quality content and we will break those things up into smaller pieces that you can then use for social media. So 100%, it's going to cost you, just throwing out numbers here, $30,000 for us to do the video for your event and whatever the case may be. And we'll break that up and we'll give it to you in for social media, right? So there's different levels of services that we'll provide based on kind of where you want the contract to go. So yes, it's not to say that I will specifically do social media. Like, hey, I'm just going to help you do your TikToks. Like, no, we're not going to do that. But it's like, it's a more holistic overview of the types of things that we can do to help you spread your message as a scientist. Because we do need to use social media because that's going to be the main way that we're going to be able to help them spread the message of their science, right? So, but yeah, I agree with you, and to not just specifically be like, hey, I'm just going to do that for you and like actually manage your tweets and stuff. Like, no, none of that stuff. So yeah, it's definitely not, hey, we're gonna tweet for you, we're gonna do your LinkedIn. No. So yeah, none of that stuff. So yeah, it's the more holistic. The big ticket items that we have, we'll break it down so that you can use it for social media. But you have a good point there in that unless you outsource it to a content manager, so that could be something in the future that we can have, that we have someone on our team that is dedicated to doing that kind of stuff, saying, hey, listen, you have these client lists that you have. Keep an eye out on what's going on in the news, what people are talking about in that field, and then manage their social media. So that could be a service that we could provide. But that is, way, way down into the future. So Kevin, it was an internal meeting for human resource directors. They didn't do a good job at all. They didn't save any material for those who were unable to attend. And that's the thing too, like just stick a camera in there and record this shit. Like record it so that you'll have it forever. And I think that's where people don't understand the value. It's like, maybe it's going to cost you, even if it's for like one day, say for me, like my fee right now, if I'm just going to go over and record stuff for you and just record some things and have it, it'd be like $1,500. Like, and you get like 2-3 camera angles, whatever. Like, and that's it. Like $1,500 to record stuff that you'll never ever have again. Like, that's worth it, isn't it? Or maybe it's not. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah. So, I don't know. And that's the thing. I guess that's the thing is, how do you get the work that you do? How do you get it out there? People need to know about it, and you need to be able to show how you have value. That's also a really specific niche as well too. But yeah, this whole event management thing, I think there's a big, not even event management per se, but just being able to go in there and provide different services during an event to be able to help you throw and run a really good, successful event. And that could be hybrid, AV production and all that kind of stuff. So it goes into Rolando, which is saying, why don't you provide podcast production services? So I have actually thought about actually getting a studio space and having things set up. Like, I mean, I would love to have a big space where I can have, hey, these are like actual video filming stations where you can film YouTube videos. Or another thing too is what I really wanted to get into. I don't know if I ever talked about this on the stream before. I probably have at some point. But doing educational content and helping people film their courses and course materials. I think that would be really cool. There's actually somebody that I offered that I know she absolutely needs to make a course, because I know she would make a killing, because she's really good at what she does. But I'm like, I will do this for free. I will help you film and produce high quality videos for you for your course, which would be amazing. So anyways, that's having that kind of service. And then yes, also having a podcast booth or podcast area where people can sit down, up to 4 people or whatever, and just run a podcast. So I've really thought a lot about that, and I would love to do that, but there's a couple problems. Number one, the biggest one is the cost, because I would actually have to lease and rent a building. And my company right now can't afford that monthly cost of just paying rent at a building. And I don't want to drive to the office every day just to do some work or what have you. So that's problem number one. Problem number two, this is a lot less of a problem. So this is not really a problem at all. So maybe I'm just making it a problem in my head, but it's not really what's holding me back from doing it. It's really number one. It's the cost associated with actually renting a space. And then, just have somebody come in and say like, hey, you want podcast services? You could just use the equipment and rent it out at $100 an hour or whatever it is. Or if you want to do a photo shoot or whatever, here's the photo studio. You can rent that out. So you just have that fee for service for just providing space. Or you could do like, hey, we'll produce it for you and we'll edit it for you, all that kind of stuff. So definitely could do that stuff. But my second problem is then I'm tied to a specific physical location. So if we wanted to pick up and move my family to somewhere else because, hey, we don't like Canada anymore, or we just want to travel, or we want to go live abroad, we want to go to Europe, we want to go to Southeast Asia, Mexico, wherever the case may be, then having a physical space is like, okay, well, now we're kind of stuck with that, right? Or then we have to get somebody else to manage it and all that kind of stuff. So, but that's not in any shape or form a reason why I wouldn't do it. It's just really the cost. But you can produce the podcast for them. They provide the location, you provide the equipment and editing. So I see what you're saying. So if they provide the location, it's like, I'll come over and I'll help film. So that could be something. My thoughts on that is, could it work? Yes, I absolutely think that it could work. But what it would be doing, I think that would be basically like starting a new business. And this is what I'm having a really hard time with, is not trying to chase the next thing that could make me some money. So it's like, oh, you could offer this service. Oh, you could offer that. And it's like, I need to focus on, like I have Pixel pieces in Pixel, and I want to make those educational videos, and I want to get all that done. And that's like my mainstream. And then of course, then there's this here as well too, with developing this to make websites for researchers. I want to focus on that. Could I do that? Absolutely, I could, but I really want to stay focused. I would love to do that. I would. But then it's like, I got to start a business, and then I got to get the word out there and whatever. But if somebody asks me, say, hey, would you do this for me? I would. Well, it depends on, what the costs are, whatever. But it's not something that I want to focus on. Does that make sense? It's, stick with what I'm good at. Well, I mean, I think I'd be pretty good at doing that. But, building websites, academic stuff, that's my bread and butter. Let's stick with that. And let's try to get people, buying some Pixel pieces as well too. So I spent like 6 months making that thing. So I don't want to just leave it off to the side and be like, oh, I spent 2 days doing Google Ads and it didn't work, so it looks like it's garbage, and throw it out. I haven't made an effort to do the hard work and the difficult work and figuring out how to get people to buy your product. And I figured I'd have the same problem if I spent the time getting this podcast thing set up. I don't know. I need to know how to sell. So it's like, I need to figure out how to sell. So anyways, but yeah, so that's a short answer, kind of why I don't do all that other kind of stuff. Or at least definitely why I don't promote that I do that kind of stuff. Like, I know a couple times too, I've done AV stuff where the client, they were doing some kind of event in their offices, and they had people that wanted to join that event remotely, and they also wanted to have people to be able to interact from remote to be able to ask questions. So I would go there, set up my cameras, set up the audio, all that kind of stuff, so that they can have their live event, but I could also do a multi-camera angle filming of the event live, but then also provide a way for them to communicate with people that were remote as well as having people be able to take a microphone and ask questions at the live event and platforms, and monitoring all that and making sure they had camera angles. So I could do all that kind of stuff. But it's not on my website. Like, you don't see that as something that I tell people that I do. People just who know me know that I can provide that service. Anyways, and those are the things that I will speak more to in Kelvin, where it's like, hey, this is how we can help you disseminate your science, right? Or you have an event. These are the things that we can do specifically for that to help you. Because I know people in the industry have problems with that kind of stuff. So yeah. Anyways, short story long. All right, where were we? Kelvin, right? Okay, so right, we're working on the services, right? Okay, we transform research into impactful narratives. I didn't finish my thought there. Okay, what was I thinking about? We're thinking about the services that we offer, right? It's almost thinking about how we're going to help you spread your message of your science and how important it is to the world. That makes any sense? So I think it's something like using, this is totally stupid, right? State of the art, blah, 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 like new age technologies to turn the complex into the simple. Like, this is totally bad, but something like that, right? Well, this is saying clear and to understand narratives. So this is horrible, using state-of-the-art new age technologies. But how do we get that point across? Saying, like modern, well, did I write anything like with digital technology or digital? I feel like I came up with something like that before, but services. Let's have a quick look at this. We wrote this because this is where we came up with, where we were almost ready to launch this as just kind of an introductory thing about, hey, here's Kelvin, here's just kind of what we do, and just have put it out there. And Kevin, I remember you made a comment saying like, hey, this doesn't really say anything in terms of the visual look. Like, there's no crazy design about this, which of course there's not. There's like nothing. It's just kind of like, hey, just read this. And the thought process for me behind this was like, hey, maybe if we can reach them on a human level and say like, hey, this is you. I see you, the work that you're doing. Forget about all these flashy lights that you can see out there. But these are your issues. You don't know how to tell your story. You don't have enough time. You don't know how to do a brand. You're not getting the results. But this is what we do. Anyways, let's just go through this and see if we can find any good content that we can take. From complex to compelling. Oh, that's nice. From complex to compelling. I like it, but I feel like there's something missing when it's saying compelling. Like, compelling doesn't also mean simple. It's almost like from the ugly to the beautiful, or something that no one wants to pay attention to like they can't take their eyes off of it, kind of thing. But I like it, but I think it could be better. Sorry, not to say, and I have no idea how that is, but I like that. Leo, how's it going? Welcome. How are you doing today? Bit busy with your development? From complex theories to compelling stories. From complex theories. So like your scientific theory or scientific, what you're doing. I like. Let's see here. Where are we? To compelling narratives / stories. like which gets results. I mean, I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but okay. I agree. It's a work in progress, and I just made it up. No, but that's what it's all about: wordsmithing and trying to figure out what makes sense and what sticks and what doesn't. That's what's so helpful. That's why I'm so thankful for you guys to even just brainstorm with me, because it's super helpful. Just gets the juices rolling. And even if you don't think you are, I mean, like everyone has their own personal bias and their own personal, way of thinking about things or what have you. And you can sit for like hours and hours and not come up with anything new or unique. It's like, or let me rephrase. Like, I know I could spend hours and hours thinking of something, but like you just would come in with a just different perspective, different way of thinking about things, and we'll come up with something that I would never even have thought of in like 100 years. Right. And then that's when you get a lot of people coming together and doing like brainstorming and stuff. You can come up with some really good stuff. It's also to be, strong-willed enough to hear that someone thinks that your idea is crap or whatever too. Because I've certainly been at places, where you do those group brainstorming stuff, whatever, and be like, yeah, that's garbage. And I think that's the one problem too. If you're ever doing these really big like team building group thing of like brainstorming, you've seen this a lot if you're doing kind of branding and trying to discover what the pain points are and whatever. So people throw out different words. But I find a lot of people are very hesitant to say something bad about another person's kind of idea, which, is kind of interesting. And I don't know if that's how in some things you end up having really crappy things, getting past the cutting room floor sometimes. Like with movies, with like a team of writers, is like, how the hell did this pass? Did anybody at some point in time say like, this is the stupidest thing ever? Why is this even in here? Anyways, it's totally going off topic here, but all right. Yeah, building a learning workspace, a workspace for you to build. You build your workspace from components. A workspace for you to build, for you to build. Oh, that's kind of cool. You build your workspace from components. Right on. Keep plugging away. I like that wordplay there about building something that you can build too. That's pretty cool. I like that. Okay, so yeah, let's have a quick read here. Okay, welcome. You're here because you want your research to reach the world. Or maybe you want to maximize your chances of getting research funding. But you've been struggling trying to get your message out there. Maybe you don't know how to tell your story, you feel like there aren't enough hours in the day, you have no idea how to create a brand, you are tired of being taken advantage of and not getting results. And yeah, that speaks to so many people I've seen spend tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on agencies or firms or whatever and get nothing from it. Like, it's unbelievable how much people can spend and get legit nothing, which is so sad. Anyways, I've seen it all before, which is why I created Kelvin. Our mission is to communicate the importance of your research so that together we can make the world a better place. Yeah, I do like that. We work with researchers like you to create impactful narratives that help you gain a competitive advantage in a highly dynamic and evolving academic landscape. Am I using that anywhere? Where do we have? All right. We work with researchers to create impactful narratives that help them gain a competitive advantage in highly dynamic and evolving landscapes. Okay, so we already have that. Yeah, even taking out academic landscapes opens the door for people that aren't necessarily in academia, but they might be in, technology. We do this by turning complex science into clear narratives that people understand, building brands which create genuine connections between people, and creating digital products which amplify your research impact and visibility. Right. So I kind of like that which amplifies your, amplify. Oh, I already have that here. Amplifying research impact and visibility. Okay. So it looks like I already taken lots from here. Through innovative digital storytelling. Okay, so we're already kind of talking about that here. So I think maybe we should be more specific here. So this is general, complex, blah, blah, through digital storytelling, right? So we already kind of talked about that. So maybe now we can get more granular in terms of what could we say about technology now? And like the services through the lens of the services that we provide, right? So one of the services is going to, it's going to be digital, right? So we do this, but how do we talk about this in plain English? So Rolando, is that the about page? This is like a 1-page website for Kelvin. So it's like, it was going to be just basically a 1-pager where you can go in and this is the home page. So not the about, this is the home page. This is what people see and they read this and it's like, hey, this is just like a direct message from the founder to hopefully kind of speak to them on a personal human level. And then just get into the services and then the clients, testimonials, and then blog and contact information. So it was really like a 1-page landing page just to put it out there to get a feel for what people might be thinking about engaging with me for this type of services. So that was the idea behind creating this kind of 1-pager. But now we're going to take this and we're going to put it into an actual more fleshed out website, basically, which really just showcases more of the work that we do. So that way people that don't know me at all come in to see the site, they'll actually be able to see some of the work that we've done instead of having to go here and like having to click in and whatever, which is still fine, but yeah. So yeah, what can we say? So maybe it could be like using, I was gonna say like using state-of-the-art technology, we can create amazing digital products which help, create impactful narratives that drive your research forward. And then, I don't know. I'm just trying to think now. What do we want to see and what do we want to showcase when we're talking about our services on the homepage? And so basically I'm thinking about having just an introductory statement to think of like our services on the homepage and then like a little introductory statement. And then there's going to be 4 buckets and it's going to be digital, data management, event management, and content creation, right? So, but what can we say about our services? Almost we can say like we have like a breadth of services. Breadth of services / experience. That we can, this is really stupid. I'm just thinking totally out loud. Which we can tailor to suit your needs goals. And that, will take your research like to the next level. This is so stupid. Maybe we have this. We could talk about, like, if we go, hang on, let me take a look at our site here for a second. So something like this, which is kind of like a services. So is there any value to saying something like, we've served, I don't know, dozens of researchers, and academic institutions. No, this doesn't make sense. I think I'm thinking of going, we served dozens of research and academic institutions, and from there, no, that doesn't make any sense at all. Let's say, like, from there, we've gained the experience and we've perfected all the stuff that we've done, so we can offer these services to you. Yeah, that's stupid. It's not in line with the main theme of the why we do what we do, right? Which is we work with you to get your science out there to the world so that together we can make the world a better place, right? If you're doing good science, and that good science could lead to good policies, good, new technologies that are developed that are good for the environment or humanity, whatever the case may be, then it needs to get out there. So how do we convey that? And how do we relate that to the services that we provide, right? We could say, like, our mission is to harness innovative communication techniques to ensure you and your work receives the recognition they deserve. Yeah, this thing actually probably should get reworked, but that's okay. We'll worry about that later. Okay, think. We never thought about using our good old pal ChatGPT, but I don't want to do that today. Okay, let's go back to this sheet here. Right, these are the services, that's fine. Maybe, does this fit in? Maybe this section here could be the value proposition and the services. Then this could just lead into the things that we do. maybe that could be why I'm having a little bit of a hard time thinking about what to say, because it's kind of saying this right here. We believe your groundbreaking research deserves to be shared with the world. Where's the why statement? Yeah, I gotta like paste this over the wall. Like this is the mission statement of the company right here. We believe I could say that so that together. I don't know if it makes sense here. I feel like that's too pie in the sky to be reading that on the website. We believe your research. I don't even know if I should even use the word groundbreaking, but you've dedicated yourself to advancing the boundaries of knowledge within your field every single day. We believe your groundbreaking research deserves to be shared with the world. So we acknowledge that you work hard at this every day. It deserves to be shared. Deserves to be shared with the world. So we say our mission is to work together and harness innovative communication. It's not only communication techniques, but to harness and create unique digital content to ensure you and your work receives the recognition you deserve. Or should it be something like our mission is to ensure you and your work receives the recognition you deserve by harnessing innovative communication techniques and creating unique digital content. I wonder if that flows better that way. I wonder which way it flows better. Leo, what I really enjoy when watching your videos is that you always talk and not just doing everything without speaking at all. What I don't see a lot of streamers do. Cool. Your content just feels professional. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Here at Pixel Media /Pixel Pieces /Kelvin /podcasting are us. We highly strive for professionalism in everything that we do. No, thank you. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. So thank you very much. But again, I always say too, is like, for me, this is really a really big learning experience, trying to, number one, obviously be professional when I'm working with clients and such, but also to put it out there, just like the reality, the behind the scenes of trying to build something that is hopefully going to be at that $1 million mark, right? So, yeah, this is the nuts and bolts, the get down and get dirty, wordsmithing things and trying to figure things out, what works, and yeah, all that stuff. So anyways, I appreciate that. Mission, get your message to the right people. So in terms of my mission, in terms of like Kelvin, is this, you're talking about this one here? Right. Okay. I think I see what you're saying. So, so it's like, so that your message like gets to the right people. Right. So that has to do with just trying to think this in context to academia, where yes, it's important to just get your message out to the world, which is also, it's a little, kumbaya. Maybe I could see that. But honestly, it's also about getting that message to the specific people that need to hear it, right? It's like, hey, I have this science, and this science is telling us that, hey, there's a problem with seaweed, whatever the case may be. And like, hey, politician guy that is the minister of the environment, whatever, you need to do this. Because if you don't, this is going to happen. And here's the science to back that up. So it's just to do the science, but to make sure the right people actually hear the message. Because who cares if but that's the thing. If the whole public knows about it, that's when things become a public outcry, right? So that's the whole thing, where a lot of things that are taking the public space in terms of what's actually important for science is not necessarily the most actually important things that are actually happening in science right now. There's so many things that people don't know about that's going on in science. But anyways, the more people that do know about it, the more pressure that can put on politicians and whatever to enact certain policies, which ultimately help that scientist because they get more funding. So I think that's what you're saying, Rolando. So it's really good. And I think that's kind of opens up a whole new, it opens up a whole new way of thinking about how to phrase these things. So that's really good. So this is what I was talking about before, about like, I'm thinking in one specific way, and you guys just come up with this one thing of like, hey, did you ever think about this? Like, yes, that makes perfect sense. Summarize it. Stop throwing so much fluff. Get to the point. Simple, concise, and impactful. So I listen, 100% agree with you. Simple, to the point, and whatever. And I guess me with this fluff, again, I'm not a good copywriter. Like, I'm just going to say this right now. Like, I suck at this. I feel like I'm not good at this at all. So sometimes it takes me like a long time to just throw out the fluff and get that in there and like figure out, it's like a sculptor. I got to chisel away at so much garbage to get to the stone, that one little shining diamond in the rough, right? It takes me a long time to get there. So thank you for bearing with me. So, this is not my area of expertise. So I feel like I'm not really good at this, but I'm trying. So I'll get to the, concise and to the point and impactful. Hopefully anyways. So Leo, what's Kelvin? So Kelvin spelled with an I at the, instead of the E in the second E. So Kelvin Studios, or just Kelvin, I think is going to be the name. So this is the new company that we're going to be pivoting to from Pixel. So Pixel is still going to be there. So Pixel is going to be the place if you want to learn how to do web design, you want to learn how to make a simple website or whatever. That's what Pixel is going to be for. So it's educational space, learning about web design, pixel pieces, you want to use all that stuff. That's going to be that. But Kelvin is going to be the new agency, which is going to be strictly for doing creative work for clients that are researchers, academics, or academic institutions, or science-based technology companies. And these clients are going to be much more bigger ticket items. So, and clients that are going to have a whole lot more money to spend. So this is, I think, going to be in the true sense of a word, like an actual agency, or definitely not a consulting, or a studio, where an academic is going to come to us and say, hey, I just got $10 million in funding. We need to figure out how to build a data platform because we have everyone on the Eastern Shore collecting data on this specific topic. We have $500,000 to spend on building a data platform. What can you do? Can you help us doing that? So like those are the types of contracts that I want Kelvin to be able to get. So that's where we're going with that. So hopefully that answers that question. And Kelvin is just I don't even know what the definition of actual Kelvin is, but that Kelvin is a unit of measurement for like temperature, where 0 is absolute 0. And then like what's room temperature? What's like actual 0 Celsius? It's like 273 Kelvin. I can't even remember, but it's based off a scientist. Now I need to look this up. I should know this. So Kelvin to Celsius. So 273.15. Yeah, that's the conversion. Okay. So Kelvin. So yeah, if you're a scientist, you'll know Kelvin. Kelvin measurement. Let's see if we can bring it up, if it comes up. So Lord Kelvin, okay, that's his name. So it was named after that guy, I would imagine. But who is he? Does it say? Who is he? Baron Kelvin, 1906. Is this the guy? Base unit for temperature in the International System of Units. Absolute temperature scale. Okay. We'll just call it the absolute temperature scale. Lowest possible temperature is absolute 0. By definition, the Celsius scale and the Kelvin scale have the exact same magnitude. A 1 K rise is equal to 1 Celsius rise. But then you have this Fahrenheit stuff that Kevin knows, which is just complete garbage. I don't even know why you measure temperature in Fahrenheit, because it makes no sense whatsoever. It's so ridiculous. Anyways, we're not here to talk about SI units of a specific country that is backwards. But anyways, Kelvin is a measurement like Fahrenheit or Celsius. Yeah. Which we were just getting to. Yeah, the absolute 0 temperature scale or whatever. So I guess I'm not a scientist now. Hey, listen, all it takes to become a scientist is to have curiosity and to observe things that happen in the natural world. And then I guess curiosity, but then it's also to ask questions and then run some hypothesis on whether what you think is happening is actually happening. So we're all scientists, just to varying different degrees. All right. Okay, back to the whole thing of what we're talking about with, getting the message to the right person. Right, okay. So, it's like not only shared with the world, but also that we ensure. Okay. So how are we gonna wordsmith this one to the right way? Our mission is to work together. So Rolando, I think you agree with me on this point of that academics they're really into themselves, right? They're all like, I don't know what the word is. They're not narcissists. That's not the word I'm looking for. Ego driven. I think that's what they're very ego driven. And so the question too is like, what's more impactful to like a researcher if they hear like, hey, your work, it needs to get the recognition that you deserve. Like you deserve this because you're awesome. Of course, they'll eat that stuff up, right? So like that's pretty important. Like, is that more important to stroking the ego of a potential client to fit their, like who they might be, or the talk of making sure that your message gets to the right people? Like what would hit harder is I guess what I'm trying to say. To be scientists, you only need money to do the work, and they're interns and trainees. Yeah. So a lot of the times too. Yeah. So as a researcher, if you get lucky enough to be able to land a job at a university or college or whatever, and then you get a certain amount of funding from the university, but then you have to go out and get your own funding through different agencies. And then if you get that money, you basically use that to hire or bring about basically graduate students and master's students and PhD students, and they basically end up doing kind of all the work, and you just kind of put your name on the papers or whatever as they keep publishing things, and you guide them or whatever and teach them. So of course they do work, and some researchers definitely do more work than others, and it depends on where they are in the department and what it is that they do and their status level, and if they're running other different types of groups within the university as well too. So some definitely are able to dedicate more time to actually doing research, and some scientists love just being into the field and going out there in the field on the boats, whatever, to do the research, which is really, really cool. So, but yeah, you got the money, you just hire a bunch of students and they do all the work, and you just put your name on as many different papers as you possibly can, which is really important for you to be good at academia, it's really good. But that's one of the big, I don't want to get into the whole problems about science and how things work in terms of funding or whatever, and what science actually gets out there to the world, because sadly, even though science itself is unbiased and is basically the search for the truth, doesn't necessarily mean, and for the most part, it doesn't mean that that's what actually gets out to people. And yeah, so, and there are definitely gatekeepers of science, which is really unfortunate. Think about the people that hand out the funding, and then the people that decide what research can actually get published in a specific magazine. And you only need to look back a few years to see all the different things that were considered science and things that weren't considered science. Anyways, totally a story for another day. Anyways, nobody cares about the work. People love to hear their names. Your name gets the recognition it deserves. Yeah, so you think that hits hard too, which is good, Kay. That's what I'm thinking as well too. 100%. Okay, so how can we phrase this? Oh, this is like empty. I need more water. Okay, how long have we been going for? An hour and 40. Oh my goodness, it's already been almost 2 hours. Crazy. Time flies when you're writing 2 words an hour. Okay, I need to get something to fix this thing because it gets loose. And anyways. So, I think this might be the most true statement I've heard in a while. Scientists are as impartial with their research as Canadians are with their national hockey team. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That being said, everyone knows Montreal is the best hockey team there is, period. And there's nothing you could say about that because that's just a fact. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's hilarious. That's a good one. I had to print that one off and frame it somewhere. Oh, man. That's hilarious. That's good. I like that. Yeah. Some are better than others. It's what humans are, right? Like I was saying, like it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're always going to have your own bias. You're always going to have your frame of reference. I mean, you've only lived your life. You've only had your experiences. So you're always going to come at things with that specific type of lens. It's just trying to put different processes in place when you're actually doing your work and when you're writing your work to understand where your biases can be and try to combat them as much as possible. But it's hard too, because imagine you're a scientist you're developing some technique that you think is going to help clean up oil spills, just a total random thing. And you're like, oh, I think I could develop a molecule or a specific type of bacteria that can biodegrade, like naturally could ingest the oil or any of the hydrocarbons and then spit out like water as it, biodegrades that stuff, as an example. And say you spend like 10 years trying to figure this out, and then you kind of almost realize that it's not going to work, or that it's kind of like a dead end. It's like, what do? Do you throw away 10 years, 20 years of your research and your life? Or do you just kind of spin the science in a way that is like, no, we just need to keep pouring more money into this so we can kind of unlock the mystery or finally figure out what's what. So, yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of a weird example, but it's like something like that on that level of, you spent your whole career at this path, and then you could either realize that it's wrong, or you can just kind of keep going in that direction, and maybe just spinning your wheels for the rest of your career, because maybe you don't want to, there's politics that's involved with trying to get research and funding. And if it's something that then you just kind of go with it. I'm not saying everyone's like that. I don't know. Like, I have no idea, but it's something that as a community of like scientists, we need to just be aware that there could be those things that are out there that are leading people in that direction. There's been some interesting talk lately about physics and physics being down this whole path of, I think it's Eric Weinstein that was talking about this. Because I think he's a physicist, talking about how the past 40 years, it's all been string theory. But apparently, from what he's saying, again, I'm not a physicist, so I have no idea, that basically it's kind of just a bunch of BS. And it's like not even it's like you're wasting all this, like all of physics is wasted all this time trying to figure out string theory, when it's like, it's kind of like a dead end. So I don't know. You just got to be careful. It's interesting. Anyways, physics is totally out of my depth. So Leo, do you think college is a scam for people who do not become doctors or lawyers? Just asking, not here to debate. I respect all opinions. That's a very good question, to be honest. And I think those are questions that people need to think about and to be able to discuss. So do I think in general, do I think it's a scam? It's like, it's a yes and no, because there's nuance to it. If you want to become a doctor, you want to become an engineer, lawyer, something that needs to be accredited, then obviously you have to go to university, college, and you have to go that route. So it's not a scam. And if that's what you want to do, you want to be a doctor, you want to help people, you want to cure people, whatever, good for you. Go to school, get your education, and that's fantastic. Everybody wins. Now, when you're talking about university, when I think 40, 50, 60 years ago, it used to be go to university, go to college, get a degree, and then with that degree, you'll be able to have certain opportunities that you wouldn't have been able to have before. And you'll be able to have a good life. You're not going to be super rich. You're not going to be Warren Buffett or whatever, but you can have a family. You can raise a family. You can go on a vacation or two a year. You can have a car or two or whatever. You can have a house. You can live the American dream, Canadian dream, whatever. That used to be a thing. And I think that was a respectable thing. But now it's gotten to the point where, and I think so many young people are realizing this, is that you're told, go to university, go to college, get that degree. And also, number one, you're spending way more money in proportion than what you were before. People going to university and getting a degree and getting $100,000, $200,000 in debt. And then you finish that, and then there's no jobs. The jobs or the lifestyle that was promised from what people were saying about going to university and going to college, it's not there. It doesn't materialize. And that's where the scam kind of comes into play, where I think the individual needs to really take a look at what they want to do with their life and figure out what the best avenue is to get there. And more often than not, I think going to college is not the answer. Like, if you want to learn how to program, sure, you can go spend 4 years and spend how much money going to university and college, or you can spend 6 months, do free tutorials on YouTube and just build stuff through like what you're doing, like just build shit. That's what you're going to be doing in university. And when you go get job interviews or whatever, it's like, can you build? And if you can build stuff, then you'll get the job. So I think in that way it's a big scam, and it's more of a societal scam, in that the dream of going to university and getting a good education and then getting a good job, it's just not there anymore. And I think that's the problem. It's just this saturated thing where your degrees are basically meaningless now. And especially there's so many BS degrees that are out there too. So, you know, I don't know. There's a lot of BS degrees. You know, people come back with a degree, they spend 4 years, they spend all this money, and they have this stupid degree that's like, what the hell is that even? Like, anyways, I don't want to get too political about the stuff, but just think about all the degrees that people have nowadays and be like, how the hell is that going to be of any use to anybody? So, you know, scam is a yes and no. And for me, like for my kids, as an example, I'll just say like what it means for me. Like if my kids want to go to university, you know, they absolutely can. And I won't hate them or anything for doing that. But I highly discourage them from going to university unless they want to enter a field that university is required. Because I would rather them, and we go through this together, learn the skills on our own, learn how to learn, and then learn what it is that you want to do and gain the skills necessary in order for you to become valuable in that skill, and hopefully multiple skills, which you can stack, and you can create your own value. So you will be valuable to employees, or better yet, start your own thing and then get a good life and a good career from that. You don't need to pay other people these ridiculous sums of money because everyone's doing that. And there's easier and better ways to learn how to do things than going to university. So anyways, that's kind of my take. So Ronaldo's disagreeing with me here, I think. No, college is the best investment you can make regardless of your major. It gives you incredible tools for life, from administration to networking, but above all, it allows you to develop an inquisitive mind. So I think that's what it used to be. For me, hearing what you're describing, that's what university was for me. And I don't think that's what it is now, because I feel like, and this is even when I was a teaching assistant, and it was different from when I was a student. When I was a teacher's assistant, I would catch people cheating, plagiarizing, doing all kinds of stuff that, you know, as a student, are you there to learn, or are you just there to get a good mark? And a lot of students were just there to get a good mark. And I was wanting to give them 0 or whatever. It's like, you're gone. But I was told from the higher ups that you can't fail the people. You can't just give them 0s or whatever. They just have to kind of go through the system. So the universities themselves are more interested, or they seem more interested in just getting money from students than actually teaching them how to be better people. So, and this was back in 2007, 8, 9, something like that. So, and now, like 20 years later, well, maybe that's not 20 years later, that's what, 15 years later? From what people that I hear, that I know, people that are teaching or whatever, it's just gotten so much worse. So much worse. Where it seems as if, and I think maybe I think the sciences and engineers are more like, they're still matter of fact, where yes, you're going in there, you're developing, you're definitely networking, you're definitely meeting with people. So there's always pros and cons to it. I'm not saying it's the worst thing in the world, and then that's that. But if you're there for the right reasons, and you have willingness to learn, and you have the right mindset of why you're there, and that you're there to actually learn, then you're going to have a fantastic experience. But if you're there to you think everything should be given to you, and you should just get a degree because you're paying all this money, and then you'll get your degree because you've paid all this money, and whether you cheat your way through that or whatever, and then you're not actually going to learn how to be a good person, or to be a good worker or employee or whatever, or be someone that actually knows how to learn, you're going to go through the system, and they're going to just spit you out and take all your money and leave you with a real dose of reality of, I can't get a job, or I'm not employable because I've learned nothing of what it takes to actually be of value in the real world. So I think it depends on the person as well. So yeah. So Rolando, I agree with you, but I also disagree with you in certain things. And I think it really is dependent on the person. And I think it's really dependent on the times. I mean, you look at campuses right now. I mean, the protests and the stuff that they're doing is just, I don't know. It's gone away from a place where, like, why is it that professors are afraid of their students, of saying certain things in their classrooms, because they think their students are going to go to HR or whatever and complain that this teacher said something that I didn't agree with in school and they need to be fired and all this stuff. Like, it's insane. It's insane. How is that a healthy place for you to be able to supposedly have intelligent, open conversations and debates and utilizing critical thinking skills to learn how to be like a better person and a better student? And you can't have that anymore at universities. So maybe it's different here in the United States and Canada than it is in other places in the world. But the way it is here now, it's not, the primary goal is not to teach students how to be good learners and how to be good critical thinkers and how to actually understand the material. So anyways, long story long again. Communications, Ganders, do you mean something else with that? And other degrees. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's definitely great degrees out there. I wouldn't stop anybody from going to university. I would just make sure that they have the right intentions of why they want to go there and what it is that they want to learn. I also believe that a career in communications was useless until I got into politics and copywriting, when I realized that it is an important career, especially in these times when there are so many messages fighting for attention. And yeah, and it's kind of sad too, because sometimes the messages that need to be front and center are not front and center. And it seems to be the people that understand, how to market and how to really kind of get their message across seems to have more success. And it's not really based on whether the message itself is actually true or not, which is crazy. So yeah, it's kind of funny how certain things, certain degrees tend to be a lot more valuable now than others. Like, should you go get a degree now in, newspaper press? Probably not. Because newspapers are kind of dying, right? But, and even coding too now is a thing. Like, well, now AI could do a whole lot of coding now. Is that going to be the way to go? I don't know. Yeah, but communication is definitely, that's a broad category of stuff as well too. But it's super important. It's super communication and language. That's what makes humans so amazing, is that we have language and we have the ability to tell stories and pass them along from people to people and generation to generation and just kind of stack all that knowledge. So yeah, very important, very important. Why do we always end up philosophizing about life instead of finishing what we're supposed to do? That's a good question. We should, let's take 30 minutes and think about that. I don't know, because it's fun, I guess. I love thinking about this kind of stuff too, though. So, but yeah, you guys stop taking me off track here. Come on now. We got to focus on the goal. Make $1 million. So once we have $1 million, then we can spend all our time philosophizing, yeah, about all kinds of life. And then we could do it over a bottle of tequila and Canadian whiskey. Yeah. Okay, sorry. I'm just like staring at my screen and just like going blank here for a second. Just kind of thinking about that. Yeah, why do we? Yeah, not all the time, but most of the time, maybe. Okay, right. We need to get the message to the right field. Okay, let's finish this section here. We gotta finish this. What was it, 4:00? Yeah, it's almost like pumpkin time. Well, 5:00. It's definitely the big cutoff here. Okay, so our mission is to work together and harness. Okay, this is fluffy. Okay, so how can we unfluff this and get to the facts here? We believe your groundbreaking research deserves to be shared to the world with the world. So maybe we can say our mission is to harness. It sounds a little like harness the power of the One Ring. Our mission is to harness innovative communication techniques and create maybe engaging digital content to ensure your work receives the recognition I think it deserves. I think that makes the most sense because it's not you, it's your work. But that's because the other sentence I had you and your work. But to ensure your work receives the recognition it deserves and that your message gets to the right people. This is basically the same sentence. I haven't trimmed off any fluff at all. Our mission is to ensure your work receives the recognition it deserves, and that your message, it's like gets to the right people at the right time. I don't know, gets to the right people. We do this using innovative communication techniques we use this by creating engaging digital content and using innovative communications techniques that resonate with people. Yeah, maybe that could end up stronger. Something like that. We do this by creating, and then we say that, this is what we do, and then we do this by how. I mean, it's very, very brief, obviously, in creating engaging digital content, and then using innovative communication techniques. And then we go into the services, this is what we actually offer. So here are the digital content. Here is the data management, right? And then we explain that, and then they can click on that to go even into more depth. So I think we're on the right path here. Okay, sorry. Rolando, adult life is lonely. We're always looking for someone to talk to. Yeah, I think you're being serious there, and I think you're 100% right. With all this connected devices and all that kind of stuff and social media, I feel like we're just more disconnected than we've ever been. Have you ever been? I always feel like this is it's pretty sad. But I don't know what to do about it. But I know when I was younger and I was a university student or whatever, and I was just poor and broke. I've been poor and broke most of my life. So I'd always have to take the bus. And I remember back in the day, before there were phones, if you're waiting at the bus stop, you'd engage in conversation with people, be like, hey, where are you doing? Where are you going? And you just kind of talk. And then maybe you end up talking to people on the bus, throughout your whole ride. Now, whenever I'm driving places, I look at bus stops and everybody is just on their phones, head down and just on their devices. And I feel like it's so sad that there's so many people that are just there beside you, but no one takes a second to talk to real people. We're just engaging on screens. And then also on screens too, it could be really like, oh, this person's an idiot or whatever, and you just like keyboard warring, like yelling at people like over your phone. Yeah, we're very disconnected. And I think, I'm sure there's studies on this. Well, okay, I'm not going to say that because I don't know. But I thought that I've heard of people talking about this, but studying like loneliness of humans, and you know, as technology I think has increased, our loneliness has also increased. Don't quote me on that, but there's probably some stuff out there in psychology journals and everything that talk about loneliness, because I do think it's on the rise. And yeah, we do, and we're social animals. We need to be around people, and we need to create communities that we can engage in and talk to each other. And if anything, just to have friends to say hello and just shoot the shit, you know, and not take things too seriously. Because it's easy to get wrapped up in your own little bubble, and you're like, oh, you're really wrapped up into this topic, or this is my hill I'm going to die on. This is my thing that's really important to me. And then you just go online, you can find endless content and endless things about that. Then you just like realize that your world becomes that thing. And it's like, there's so much more to it. And yeah, you get into your little bubble, and then you forget that there's real people that are outside of that bubble for you to engage in. Yep. Anyways, doesn't have to be lonely though. We can make connections. Nothing that has been done cannot be undone. Is that something that like Master Yoda has said? I don't know. Maybe. All right. Okay, so I like this. Value proposition / services. And then we're going to have, after this, then we're going to say, so images, sections on each service. Yeah, each service we offer. And then this is where we want to go into these services. But how much should we talk? So digital. Yeah, content. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. So on this homepage, right, you're going to think of, it's got that text, and it's like our services, and then digital, content, event. Oh, these are even different. These are even different than what we wrote before. So digital, content, data, and then event, right? So those 4 services. I'm thinking of maybe just having the header of digital and just have a bullet points of what those services are. So like digital, it'll be web design, web development, UI, UX, analytics, whatever the services are going to be under digital. And then a button will be like learn more. And then when you go to the actual digital page, or yeah, it'll be like whatever site / services / digital, or maybe just / digital. I don't know, whatever. That doesn't matter for now. Then we get into a little bit of content, right? A website is the heartbeat of your research, a place, blah, 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 content. And then we go to each one of these ones of what those bullet points are. And then we will talk about each of those bullet points, like web design. We create blah, 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 start to finish, mobile responsive, blah, 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 whatever. I think that's how we should break this down. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. Because on the homepage, the user is going to see the full list of things that we do, but just in bullet point form. But then you go in and then you see everything. And then even each of those bullet points, which were on the homepage, are going to be fleshed out even more. By even more, I only mean like a sentence or 2. Because I mean, how much do you want to say about, what a website is? So I think that works. Let me go into Figma here and let's see, because we started talking a little bit. Yeah, okay, this is interesting. So from technical to digestible. um, Right. I guess what I'm describing is take out this placeholder text here. Can I hide that? And just have this on the homepage. And then a button here is, learn more about data. Or would it be better? This could be the other thing. We hide, this is on the homepage, data, blah, 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 blah. This is what we do about data. And then learn more. And then maybe it's a little bit, so then we're not like repeating what we're saying. Like having the bullet points here and then on the individual page. Yeah, I don't know what's going to be better. I don't know what makes the most sense or what makes more sense. Services overview. Maybe this is where it might not be a bad thing to have a quick look at other agency websites and kind of see what they're doing. And, obviously not copying or anything like that, but just kind of getting a feel for how they're laying out their structure on their website. But we definitely, yeah. So services page, data. Yeah, we build content, events, branding. Yeah, so these are different. All right, so I started writing here. So this is digital and this is website design, right? Application development. I didn't finish it, yeah, because content didn't write. Yeah. Anyways, so the sections are going to be, they're going to be digital. Actually, just do like this, I think. Digital. Placeholder here. Oops, undo that. Graphic semi-bold. And paste. So there's digital, there's content creation, there's data management, and event management. Looks like I'm forgetting an E there. Okay, let's delete that. We also have this section 4. So we have testimonials. And then, then just list of testimonials. Obviously, that's pretty straightforward. And then we have section 5, and this is our call to action. Well, actually, yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, do we have blog/news feed? I think we do. Because we are going to have a blog and news feed. How much stuff and what types of content we're going to put on there, I'm not sure. But that's going to be, that's going to be there. Section 5, news feed. And section 6 is the main call to action. Like ready to start a project? click here to contact us, or whatever that call to action is going to be. Okay. All right. I think this is going to be a good place to stop this here. I think my brain's getting a little bit mushy here. Could use a break. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining. Kevin, happy birthday. Have yourself a great dinner with your family. Hope the pizza is enjoyable. And happy birthday. Rolando, I said happy birthday, Kevin. Rolando and Leo, thank you so much for stopping by and with all your help. Very, very helpful today. And maybe tomorrow we'll stay more on point, less philosophizing, and more content writing. Anyways, I do appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for joining. And Rolando, I will get in touch with you sooner rather than later over email as well. All right, guys. Thanks again. I really appreciate you guys showing up. And as always, I'll be back here again tomorrow for a brand new live stream. Until then, have a good night.